Hello and welcome back. Thank you very much for coming back, and again, as always, thank you very much for your support and continued presence. It's been very much appreciated. Today, I promised you last week we were going to get to meet some of our main characters, some of the good guys. So first of all, we're going to go back to chapter 1, where it all began. I'm going to meet Christian. Christian is a journalist, and he is our main protagonist in the story. So if you're all sitting back comfortably, I'll begin. After a romantic substitute dinner, they decided to take a walk down by the banks of the River Clyde. They strolled down the meandering pathway. In the foreground, the picturesque Portland Street suspension bridge. Its red lights highlighting the wrought iron lattice work. The reflection of the lights danced on the water below in contrast with the hulking silhouettes of the arched sandstone towers of the bridge. This was his safe place, when his troubles got too much for him. Many nights he'd sat here alone, with only the stars and the occasional drunk for company. The sounds of the river and the passing traffic always soothed and comforted him. For the first time, he brought Eve to his most private sanctuary. They sat down on a graffiti-marked bench, and Eve cuddled up close beside him. "I've never actually wandered down here before," she said quietly. "I've always thought it was the seedier side of the city, full of losers, drug addicts, and ladies of the night." Christian laughed and stroked her smooth cheek. It was blushed red by the autumnal wind. "Yeah, I know what you mean. It's what drew me here originally." "Oh, you were drawn here by ladies of the night? Why, Mr. Bradford, I'm learning more about you all the time," she chuckled, winking with the air of mischief he loved so much. "Ha ha," he replied sarcastically. "No, I mean the fact people think is the seedy side of Glasgow. They tend not to frequent this spot so much." He gestured to the empty river walkway, strewn with the odd used condom, the occasional broken bottle, and plenty of discarded shopping bags blowing against the railings at the water's edge. "It's perfect for when I need to be alone." "Well, you're not alone anymore." She punctuated the moment with a kiss on his cheek. "I can genuinely see your fascination with this spot. It has a lovely view of the stars." He gazed in her direction, intently watching the delight in her face as she looked up to the heavens. "The stars seem so much brighter when I'm with you," his words slipped out involuntarily. The sources of light grew brighter as the shadows loomed larger around them. She looked at Christian with a curious expression. Christian was so enamoured by Eve that he didn't notice the subtle change in her expression or the growing darkness that surrounded them. "That's nothing to do with me. That's the endorphins in your body heightening your senses. It's just science," said Eve with a wry smile. Christian chuckled and smiled back at her. "Oh yeah? And why are my endorphins going nuts? Did you put something dodgy in my drink tonight?" said Christian teasingly. Eve feigned innocence. "I couldn't possibly comment," she said with a delightful wrinkle of her nose and a hand placed casually on his leg. He pulled her closer and placed his cold hand upon hers. At the same time, he let out a lamenting sigh that immediately troubled Eve. "What's wrong, honey?" He hesitated for a moment, remembering the look in her face the first night he confessed about his nightmare. However, he relented as he felt secure in her presence. I had my nightmare again, although this time was slightly different." "How so?" "Well, it wasn't just falling through the darkness. This time a light appeared and a figure tried to catch me. But I missed and continued falling." "That is very strange. You've been having this dream for a long time, haven't you?" "Yeah, ever since I was about 12. I always felt that the darkness was in me, but it felt somehow alien this time. Do you think I might be afraid of losing you?" Eve moved her hand from under his and playfully pushed him away. "Hey, I'm not going anywhere. You don't have that kind of luck. You're stuck with me now," she teased, although Christian wasn't so sure. "Do you promise?" "I promise. You might think I'm amazing and wonderful, but I don't. And I feel very grateful that we met," she insisted. "Thank you. That means a lot to me. It really does." He took her hand to his chapped lips and tenderly kissed it before taking her into his arms in a loving embrace. After a few passionate minutes, he looked up to the stars and pointed out the bright spot that was Jupiter. In about 3 months, all the visible stars will be in the sky together, he explained. Elaborating, he told Eve that in a rare occurrence, Mars, Saturn, Venus and Mercury would join Jupiter in the night sky and form a perfect pentagon. Well, some total Fruit Loops think that it's a portent of doom, he scoffed before looking back to meet her Claire. Fruit Loops? What if your girlfriend is one of those Fruit Loops? She teased him playfully. Christian took her hand once more, gazed into her soulful eyes and said, "Now I'll just have to get you the finest psychiatric help money can buy." I'm going to stop it. As always, thank you very much for joining in. Thanks for your support, as I said earlier. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell all your friends, and hopefully you enjoyed. Join in next week and we'll have another part. Take care. Bye.